Welcome, welcome. My name is Dr. Jeremy Thornton, joining you from Southwest Missouri. I am a chiropractic physician, board certified internist, and board certified clinical nutritionist. I've been in practice here in our little town for 28 years now in the area of nutritional and functional medicine. And so I don't say that to impress you about me. What I say that to is to impress you that I have seen a lot of nutritional supplements. I have used a lot of nutritional supplements, and especially supplements in the area of metabolic health. Who else on here? Drop it in the comments if you've tried a lot of things that were supposed to help you get healthier and lose weight, and they didn't work, right? That was me. I was very skeptical about this product, this technology, when it was shared with me by Tanya, who's actually on here this morning. Um, and was very skeptical. In fact, I did not want to try it, honestly. It was another one of those things, right? That doesn't work, that I'm going to spend a lot of money on, and it's not going to work. And that was my poor attitude coming into this conversation. So I tried the drops and actually sampled these over the holidays, over Christmas and New Year. Not the smartest time to sample a metabolic health product, right? But I just knew it wasn't going to work anyway. So I just took the drops every day. After the holidays, I got on the scale and realized I had actually lost weight instead of gaining weight, because I always, who doesn't gain weight over the holidays, right? And so it got my attention to say, wait a minute, what just happened? What's in these drops? And why did I not gain weight over the holidays? So I'm thankful that happened, because I wouldn't recommend eating bad and taking the drops and expecting miracles. But I'm thankful that it got my attention to look a little closer. So I dove into the science, I dove into the research. What's the ingredients in this product? What does it do? What can it help? And the more that I looked, the more that I studied, utilizing it on my family, getting to try it, a handful of patients and friends. And the more that got on this product, the more testimonials I was getting back. And sure, people were losing weight, but it was what was beyond the weight loss that really got me excited, that it was impacting health in a big way, besides just fat loss. And so, meet TriGLP, our amazing sublingual underneath the tongue drops. And now we have the IGNYT powder, the same bioactive peptide technology, but just different delivery systems, right? So many people have heard about GLP-1. In fact, many people think GLP-1 is a drug, and we hear it so often. Here in the United States, it's like every other ad is about a GLP-1 medication. But GLP-1 is not a drug. GLP-1 agonists are drugs. GLP-1 is a natural peptide, a natural hormone that our body already produces in the gut. Okay, it's already in there. It was already designed to be used by the body. The GLP-1 agonists mimic the GLP-1 hormone. In fact, they mimic it, and they drive these receptors in our body, our brain, our pancreas, our gut, our muscles. It drive them very hard. And that's where we get some of these side effects that we hear. The GLP-1s, we hear muscle loss and bone loss and vision loss and pancreatitis, and the gut completely stopped working, and all these crazy things, because it mimics that hormone, and it does it super aggressively. And nowhere in the body do we just crank up one message in the body, right? We don't just crank up GLP-1 in the body. The body wouldn't do that, right? It's a system. There's signals. There's things, the physiology that happens that is natural, right? And injecting a GLP-1 agonist into the body to mimic this hormone is not natural. So we can expect some side effects. Sure, there are benefits, right? It was designed for diabetes. It can be helpful in these cases, but it is now the number one medication for fat loss. And I'm here today to share with you there's a better way. There's such a better way, and we have that. So the GLP-1, again, already in our body, a natural pathway, regulates hunger in the brain, actually in the brain, improves satiety and reduces food cravings. We don't eat as much. What I've been surprised is how powerful it is at improving blood sugar and reducing insulin and insulin resistance in the body. And that's huge. It promotes sustainable fat loss without effort. Brain, pancreas, and metabolism are the main focus of GLP-1. But when we hear the term TriGLP, tri means three. So the most popular weight loss drug on the market mimics one pathway. And we're supporting 3 GLP pathways with this amazing bioactive salmon peptide technology, right? So the GLP-2 pathway, the second pathway we support, is the gut repair and absorption pathway. Its primary focus is gut health, absorption, recovery. It helps repair that intestinal barrier, helps to strengthen it. It helps to repair a condition called leaky gut. Anybody heard of leaky gut? That's always a funny name, makes me chuckle. But leaky gut syndrome is a very real thing that people experience. And it's hard on the gut, it's hard on the body, hard on the immune system. In fact, it's an early driver for autoimmune diseases, which is what I primarily work with. It enhances the GLP-2 enhances nutrient absorption, digestion, a healthy gut microbiome. Of course, if we have a healthy gut, we're going to have a healthier immune system because most of our immune system lives where? It lives in our gut, right? 90% of serotonin is made in our gut, 50% of dopamine. So if our gut is healthy and happy, we're going to be healthy and happy as well. And so that's the GLP-2 pathway, but not just those two, but the GIP pathway as well, which is important for nutrient absorption and energy. It optimizes also, kind of like GLP-1 in ways, supporting insulin sensitivity in the body, improving blood sugar. It keeps sustained energy throughout the day. It helps the body to determine that we don't need to store everything we put in our mouth, that we could actually utilize that more efficiently for energy, and helps to shift that conversation in the body, improves muscle preservation, especially during weight loss. So it's very important. The most popular drug that we mentioned of the weight lost, 39 up to 39% of that weight loss can be muscle. And that's scary, folks. If you lose 50 pounds on the shots, 20 pounds of that being muscle, are we in better shape, really, health-wise, after losing that 50 pounds? We're not, right? Metabolically, we are worse off. And what happens when we stop the shot? Well, first of all, the shots are mimicking hormones in our body, right? And so what happens when we replace hormones in our body? Do the glands continue to make the same amount of hormones? No, right? What do? They stop. They shut down production, right? Well, you don't need to work anymore. That hormone's already in here. So they stop making that hormone. So we do shots for weeks and months, and we're suppressing those pathways that don't need to work now because we're injecting these synthetic versions. What happens when we stop injecting? We gain all that weight back, right? But do we gain the muscle back? We don't. So we lost 50 pounds, 20 pounds muscle. We gained that weight back potentially coming off the shots. And now we have 20 more pounds of fat than we had before. Now we're in worse shape than ever before. And sadly, the answer sometimes is, well, I need to go back on these shots. And what if we lost 50 pounds again? Let's say another 50 pounds. We're at the same weight on the scale, but we may have lost another 20 pounds of muscle. Now our body is 40 pounds down in muscle, and now we are in big trouble, right? And this is happening over and over. And that's just the muscle loss component of the GLP-1 injections. There's so many more potential side effects outside of that. But I think that's important for us to know. We're not, with this technology, we're not mimicking hormones. We're not replacing these GLP hormones. We are supporting the already existing pathways in the body, right? We're not causing them to shut down. We're supporting this already existing physiology. We're not trying to replace it. We're not trying to force this physiology. So some of the benefits, there's so many benefits that we could talk about. But as far as metabolic benefits, up to 7% reduction in BMI in just 6 weeks. Let's see, 10% body fat decrease with zero muscle loss. I think that's important. Zero, not 5%, not 10%, certainly not 39%. No muscle loss. 100% fat targeted weight loss. Improvements like we talked about in blood sugar and insulin sensitivity in the body, lower blood sugar, lower A1C, improved energy, improved in reduction in inflammation, improved and enhanced gut health and digestion. Those are a few of the clinical results. But we have so much more research. We just recently received 13 function claims allowed by the FDA on a natural product. 13 allowable FDA or allowable health claims by the FDA. First off, if you know anything about nutritional supplements, you know that the FDA does not like to say that nutritional supplements can do anything right? They don't like to allow those kind of claims. Um, so why are they allowing 13 function claims on this product? It's because of the research, right? It's because of this technology is real, right? So many supplements out there have all the hype that they can do this, that, and the other. And you ask them about where's the science to show that? You hear crickets because they don't have the science. And we do have the science. In fact, it's right there on the website. So if you have a website, check it out. It's right there. If you don't, if you're new on here, make sure you get someone's website because all of the science is just right there, one click away. You get to see all of the studies. And the exciting part about this is only one or two of those function claims have anything to do with metabolism and weight loss. The rest of them have all kinds of other health benefits that it proves. So one of those is improvement in iron deficiency anemia. So somebody that's anemia uh, showing increased ferritin by 140%. That's the stored form of iron in the body by 140%. And there's no iron in here. Isn't that wild? Why is it improving iron absorption? It's improving gut health, right? We're absorbing iron. Well, guess what? If we're absorbing iron better, what else are we absorbing? Everything better, right? So iron deficiency anemia, there's studies on cosmetic improvements. There's also type 1 and 3 collagen in these peptides, which is so amazing for hair and skin and nails. Cosmetic improvement studies showing up to 34% in females reporting significant improvements. Anti-inflammatory effects, antioxidant gene activation, muscle preservation. I'm going to jump into a couple of those, a little bit more detail. And I shared this on my longevity presentation, right? I just gave a presentation on longevity and anti-aging, had nothing to do with fat loss. That was all we were talking about, is this kind of stuff. The studies showing an upregulation of 16 protective genes against oxidative stress and downregulation of 9 oxidative stress genes related to oxidative stress. So it's not just an antioxidant, not that those aren't bad, those are good, but it's actually shifting gene activation in the body, shifting gene expression itself from these little drops and this little powder here. Oxidative stress is what ages us, right? It's what accelerates aging. It's what causes us to have wrinkles too soon, right? It damages the cell. It damages the mitochondria in our cell. It damages the DNA in our body, driven largely by the toxic world we live in, poor lifestyle, all the junk in our food and our air and our water, stress and poor sleep, and all of these things cause oxidative stress, which accelerates aging. And we have a powerful tool in protecting us from oxidative stress. And like I mentioned, a healthy inflammation response with improvements in blood levels of C-reactive protein, interleukin 5 and 8. Those are important inflammatory markers in the bloodstream that we're impacting with this. And now we hear a lot about in the science about what's called inflammaging, not inflammation, inflammaging. And this chronic low levels of inflammation in the body is promoting an increase rate of aging in folks, which leads to chronic health conditions and chronic disease. So another area of the research goes into muscle preservation and muscle growth. So the proteins called myostatin and activin usually promote muscle breakdown. It inhibits new muscle growth. It encourages muscle loss and muscle wasting. This technology significantly suppresses these two proteins. And it increases rapidly amino acid delivery throughout the body, throughout the bloodstream, called rapid amino acidemia, right? I like that word because it makes me sound smart. So just, pull that out of your hat every once in a while when you're talking about the drops. It causes rapid amino acidemia. But what that means is, especially the protein or the amino acid called leucine tells the body it's time to crank up muscle growth, right? Let's get those muscles growing. So we by suppressing those proteins, we're taking our foot off the brake in muscle health. And then with the rapid increase in leucine and amino acid delivery, we're putting our foot on the accelerator to new muscle growth. And of course, longevity, which my talk was about, it's all about preserving muscle tissue. such a key part of aging and aging well and living, not just years, but adding, quality to those years, right? So, why is this different? Well, one, we've talked about already. It's the science, right? It's the 10 plus years of research studies that we have. It's 50 million plus invested and continued to be investing in research. There's studies ongoing. I think we have 10 published studies now, and there's more already in progress in the pipeline on lots of different things, even including the big C word, right? We're learning about how peptides can impact the immune system. Patented bioavailable technology, 13 FDA claims. That alone is shocking to anybody in the nutritional space. Pharmaceutical grade manufacturing standards, no medical gatekeepers. We don't have to get a prescription, and we're talking about 95% less cost than the injectable counterparts. When we talk about Origin Pure, I know I'm going long, so I'm going to kind of speed along here. We talk about beyond organic because, the term organic these days, unfortunately, at least here in the US, isn't as solid as it used to be. It used to mean that it was super clean. You could consume this product, feel safe about it, that it was going to be the ultimate strict in certifications and protection. And sadly, it's not like that as much here in the US anymore. Just because it says organic, you still have to look into it because it may not be organic. Here at Origin, we're beyond organic. We have all of these certifications on this product, on this technology. There's no pesticides, there's no heavy metals, right? There's no junk in here. Kosher certified, HACCP, halal, non-GMO, GMP certified, definitely beyond organic. So in the drops here, which go under the tongue, just 4 simple ingredients, right? There's nothing on that label that you can't pronounce, that you have to look up. That's not good for you, right? We have the salmon bioactive peptides from Norway, the organic lemon peel extract, organic ginger root extract, and water. That's all that's in there, guys. 4 ingredients in the powder that you shake up and drink. That tastes amazing, by the way. The salmon, the same amazing salmon, bioactive peptides, beet powder for color, stevia for sweetener, but there's only a hint of stevia. It's not super sweet, thankfully, and natural cranberry and natural apple flavoring. And that's all the ingredients that are in the Ignite. This is the perfect time for a natural breakthrough because as a country here in the US, and as I'm looking and presenting this to other countries, it's very similar. They're not quite as bad as here in the US, but some of them are close. In the area of metabolic health, 72% in America, 72% of us are obese or overweight. 1 in 3 have prediabetes. 1 in 8 are diabetic, with 70+% having either insulin resistance or metabolic syndrome or some type of metabolic dysfunctions. 70 to 88%. These are staggering numbers. And all of this, the obesity, the blood sugar dysregulation drives all of the big killers. It drives heart disease. It drives cancer. It drives neurodegenerative disease, which they're calling Alzheimer's now type 3 diabetes. Have you heard that? Because the insulin resistance in the brain is causing cell death. And we have a powerful tool now that can support these areas. But not only because we desperately need it because of our current health crisis, but people are searching for it. It's the perfect time because people are looking for this right now. They're looking for health. They're 10% already on GLP medications here in America, with 35% currently looking and searching, but hesitant to pursue the injectable options. There's 5 million here in the US, 5 million internet searches for GLPs alone every month. Worldwide, 20 to 30 million searches for GLPs every month. So here in the US, there's 100 million consumers that are seeking GLP advantages. And not only that, people are looking for this, but we know they are by looking at the global market size. So 130 to 140 billion dollars in the GLP drug market in 2025. I don't think we can even wrap our minds around what 130 to 140 billion is, but for Just for comparison purposes, here in the US, the one of the biggest drugs on the market is a cholesterol lowering drug called Lipitor. Guess what the Lipitor drug market size is, which lowers, like I mentioned, lowers cholesterol, is 13 billion annually. That's the drug market size. And we're talking 130, 140 billion, expected to reach 240 to 260 billion by early 2030s. So this peptide, this GLP conversation is just getting started, and it's just going to continue to grow because people are searching for help. Many are resorting to the shots, which I'm not totally against. There's times when they're necessary. They're not for everybody. And these certainly shouldn't be the first choice. When we have something that's safe, that's natural, that's clean, that's affordable, that they can get their hands on now without a prescription, that's not going to have those dangerous side effects. So the world is ready and waiting for a natural option that we have. And I'm excited to be able to share that with you and share that ultimately with the world. The Origin also has opportunities to be able to lock arms with us and share this amazing product in your world, your neighborhood, your circles, and the pay there is amazing. If that's something you're interested in, we're not going to talk about that today. If that's something you're interested, please get back with the person that invited you and check that out. If you're not on this product, you've got to try it. I know that based on these statistics, that likely you need it. And if it's not you, then somebody close to you needs this product. We also have an amazing testimonial group. If you have not been invited to that, get with the person here that invited you or that sent you this video and ask to be invited to the testimonial group. We have over, I don't know, 14, 15,000 now in that group sharing testimonials, real life stuff about how this is impacting their health, far beyond fat loss, in all kinds of areas of health and wellness. And that gets exciting. And so let's see here, check the screen here. And I appreciate you guys for joining me today. I hope this was helpful information, and take care and God bless.